Okay, how about now? Are we good now? I see it's moving. I think I forgot to change the input. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry. I mean, it wouldn't be a stream if I didn't have some kind of, you know, tech issue. Cool. Sorry. I had it like I had the wrong thing selected, so that's why. Anyways, hello, hello, hello. I was saying hello to everyone. I said hello to Clover. I said hello to Rocky, Christine. I said hi. We're doing great. Family's doing good. Bookworm. Hello, hello, Anthony. Typical dreadful script. I swear, and like you'd think that I'd be better with tech stuff since my husband is like a software developer, but he's got the brains in that department, I guess. Spookaria, hello lady, how are you? How are you? So what I was saying when I was muted was that it's going to be a pretty short stream tonight. We're not going to do like a 2-hour one. I'll probably be like an hour and a half max, because I do want to enjoy some horror movies tonight with my boo. Little Dreadful's sleeping, so we decided we were going to watch some horror movies. But I did want to do a stream because I didn't put out a video one day this week, and I was trying to do like the 13 nights of Halloween. I did most of it, but life happens, and it's my last week of maternity leave, so I was trying to spend as much time with baby as possible. So, baby's first, channel gets put on the back burner for a little bit, but you guys understand. So I have my poison here. I always do this wrong. My poison. And also a huge shout out to Rocky for fixing my thumbnail, because Mr. Dreadful ate my prop apple. And it wasn't his fault. I had an apple and I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to use this to do my thumbnail. And he ate it because I did not communicate that that was not to be eaten until after I take the photo. So then Rocky like edited in a cool poison looking apple. So thank you. I know, it is. It's crazy. Bookworm. I'm like I'm emotional. I was emotional this week because it's, I love my job, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a lot different, like not being able to be with little baby 24/7, But yesterday, Mr. Dreadful wasn't feeling too well, so I was on baby duty for like a full 24 hours, hence why I have my coffee. I did get a nap in today though, so we're good. So tonight's stream, going to first lower this because it's distracting me. I always get distracted with the music, but I like it. But anyway, we're gonna do 2 Grimm fairy tales. Gonna do Snow White, or it's called Little Snow White in Grimm Fairy Tale World, and Rumpelstiltskin, because those are 2 of my absolute favorites. I dressed up as Snow White. I have the full costume on, but obviously you can't see. But originally I had planned on being Snow White this year for Halloween, and baby was going to be one of the 7 dwarfs. I was going to do either Sleepy or Grumpy depending on his mood. But then I saw the Oogie Boogie costume and I decided that we were going to do Nightmare Before Christmas, but I didn't want to waste the costume, so then I came up with this idea. And Paige Turner adapted Little Snow White for us so that it's an easier read. Rumpelstiltskin will be adapted, and I'll turn that into a video, but for now we're just going to read the regular Grimm fairy tale. And yeah, so I know Lone Wolf won't be here tonight. He is on a live stream on 242's channel, so I'm just seeing like all of my usuals are here, and I love it. Oh, and there's Anakin barking. Yeah, it wouldn't be a stream without that either. Actually, I'm surprised. Usually my cats, like when I first started streaming, my cats would just come in and like walk all over, but they've been I don't know, they've been hanging out. I'm like, okay, we're gonna leave you alone. They haven't been too pleased with me since the baby's here, because he gets all the attention, so sorry guys. But they still cuddle with me at night, so it's fine. Alright, so would you guys want to hear Snow White first, or do you want to hear Rumpelstiltskin first? I'll leave that up to you. Whoever answers first, that's what we're gonna go with. And I have my my iPad out so I don't have to like read this way. I can just like read from my book of spells. Snow White. Okay. Ladies, Rowan and grandmother telling Rumpelstiltskin when I was just a lad. Right, Rumpelstiltskin. I'm probably gonna mess the name up like 18 times, so that's gonna be funny. But yes, I agree. I had like this book that my grandmother bought me when I was little, and it was just a book of all the fairy tales. Like, not the. They're just like the classic fairy tales, not the super dark versions, but I loved them. Like the Actually, no, they were the dark versions because we had Bluebeard in there, and I remember being like, "What in the world am I reading right now?" And Bluebeard became one of my absolute favorite fairy tales. It was so dark, and I was just like, "What the heck?" Like, had his wives hanging in the basement. My goodness, I actually have Bluebeard on my channel. That was one of the first classics. And Lady said, I want to hear Salem's Lot. And no, Lady didn't say that. Rocky said he wants to hear Salem's Lot. I'm sorry. We're not doing that tonight. That's for another stream. That'll take quite a while. But Lady was first, and she said Little Snow White, so let's go with that. I'm going to turn the music off so that I don't get too distracted. And please enjoy my poison apple earrings that I bought because they were super cute, and I'll probably wear them even when it's not Halloween. Also, before anything else, happy Halloween weekend. I hope everyone has a safe one and fun. And we're going to start off, kicking it off tonight with a little Grimm fairy tales. So, here is Little Snow White, adapted by Paige Turner. And I'll get to the comments and stuff after I'm done reading. I could probably get through the whole thing. Or maybe I'll take a break in between. We'll see. Okay. Once upon a time, in the middle of winter, a queen sat sewing at her black ebony-framed window while the snowflakes fell like feathers from heaven. As she worked, she looked outside and pricked her finger, causing 3 drops of blood to fall into the snow. The red and white looked so beautiful that she wished for a child as white as snow, as red as blood, and as black as the ebony frame. Soon after, she had a daughter who was exactly that, and they called her Little Snow White. But the queen died soon as the child was born. A year later, the king was remarried to a beautiful woman, but she was proud and arrogant, and she couldn't stand the thought of anyone surpassing her beauty. Every morning she stood before her magic mirror, looked at herself, and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who in this land is the fairest of them all?" In response, the mirror would answer, "You, my queen, you are the fairest of them all." And she would be satisfied, because she knew the mirror told the truth. As Snow White grew up, she became ever more beautiful. By age 7, she was as beautiful as the light of day, even more so than the queen herself. When the queen next stood before her mirror to ask who was the fairest of them all, and answered, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White is 1,000 times fairer than you." The queen became frightened, turning yellow and green with envy, and from that moment on, whenever she looked at Snow White, her hatred grew so great that her heart turned over inside her body. Her pride and envy grew like a weed in her heart, never giving her a moment's peace. Eventually, she summoned a huntsman and ordered him to kill Snow White. And ordered him to take Snow White into the woods. "I never want to see her again. Kill her and bring her lungs and liver as proof of her death," she commanded. The huntsman obeyed and took Snow White into the woods, where he drew his hunting knife. As he prepared to stab it into her innocent heart, she began to cry and begged the huntsman to let her live, vowing to go into the woods and never return. Because she was so beautiful, the huntsman took pity on her and told the poor child to run away. He thought the wild animals would soon devour her anyway, but it was as if a stone had fallen from his heart, since he wouldn't have to kill her himself. Just then, a young boar came running by, so he killed it and cut out its liver and lung as proof of Snow White's death. The cook then boiled them with salt, and the wicked woman ate them, believing they belonged to her stepdaughter. The poor child was now all alone in the great forest, and she was so afraid that she simply stared at the leaves on the trees, not knowing what to do. Eventually, she began to run through thorns and over sharp stones as wild animals jumped at her, but they didn't harm her. She ran as far as her feet could carry her until, just as night was about to fall, she saw a little house and she decided to get some rest. Inside, everything was small, but the home was neat and clean. There was a little table covered with a white tablecloth and 7 little plates. Each plate had utensils and a mug as well. Against the wall there were 7 little beds standing in a row and covered with white sheets. Snow White was so hungry and thirsty that she ate a few vegetables and a little bread from each plate before drinking a drop of wine from each mug. Afterward, she became so tired that she laid down on a bed, but none of them felt right. One was too long, another was too short, until finally the 7th bed was just right. So she entrusted herself to God and fell asleep. As it turns out, this house actually belonged to the 7 dwarfs who mined it for ore in the mountains, and they returned home just after dark. Inside, they each lit their candles and could immediately see someone had been there. The first one said, "Who's been sitting in my chair?" The second one said, "Who's been eating from my plate?" The third one said, "Who has been nibbling my bread?" The fourth one said, "Who has been eating my vegetables?" The fifth one said, "Who's been using my fork?" The sixth one said, "Who's been cutting with my knife?" The seventh one said, "Who has been drinking from my mug?" Then the first one saw a little imprint in his bed and said, "Who has stepped on my bed?" This caused the others to check their own, and soon they were all shouting, "Someone's been lying in mine as well." But as the 7th one looked at his bed, he found Snow White still sleeping there. The other dwarves all came running and cried out with amazement. Fetching their 7 candles, they shined the lights onto the child and exclaimed, "Oh, good heaven! This child is so beautiful." They were so happy that they let her to continue sleeping, but the 7th dwarf had to sleep with his companions 1 hour with each one until the sun rose. Oh, hello, Megatron. We were waiting for that appearance. Let me reread that part, sorry. Okay. Where was I? Okay. But the 7th dwarf had to sleep with his companions 1 hour with each one until the sun rose. The next morning, Snow White woke up and became frightened when she saw the 7 dwarfs, but she soon realized they were friendly. Upon learning the child's name, they asked her how she found their house, so she told them of her stepmother's evil plan and how she fled through the forest after the huntsman spared her life. The dwarf said, "If you will keep everything clean and orderly, cook, make the beds, wash, sew, and knit, then you can stay with us, and you will have everything you want." To this, Snow White answered, "Yes, with all my heart." So she kept the house clean, and every morning the dwarfs went into the mountains to search for ore and gold. Then they returned in the evening to find their meals ready and waiting. During the day, the girl was alone, so the dwarfs cautioned her to be wary of her stepmother. "She will soon learn that you are here, but be sure not to let anyone inside," they warned. Meanwhile, the queen believed she had eaten Snow White's lungs and liver, which meant she would once again be the most beautiful woman in the land. Stepping in front of her mirror, she asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who in the land is fairest of them all?" "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White, beyond the mountains with the 7 dwarves, is still 1,000 times fairer than you," the mirror answered. This startled the queen, for she knew the mirror wouldn't lie. She realized the huntsman had deceived her and that Snow White was still alive. She then spent a great deal of time thinking about how she could kill Snow White. She wouldn't be able to rest until she was once more the most beautiful woman in the land. Someone said I'm so quiet. Okay, am I too quiet, guys? Let me know. It should be fine, I think. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading. I think it's good. No one else is saying that it's quiet. And I have it all the way up, so it should be good. Okay. Let me turn it a little bit more up. Okay, there we go. Eventually, she developed a plan to disguise herself as an old peddler woman so that no one would recognize her. Then she went to the little house in the woods and began knocking on the door as she called out, "Beautiful goods for sale." Snow White looked through the window and said, "Good day, dear woman. What do you have for sale?" "Good and beautiful wares," she answered, "bodice laces in all colors." Here she took out one that was braided from colorful silk and asked the young girl if she would like it. Okay. I can let that honest woman in, Snow White thought as she unbolted the door and bought the pretty lace. "My, how you look, child. Come, come, let me lace you up properly," the old woman said. The unsuspecting Snow White stood before her, but the old woman pulled the lace so hard and so quickly that the young girl couldn't breathe. "You used to be the most beautiful one," the old woman added as she hurried away. Not long after, the 7 dwarfs came home, and they were terrified to see their dear Snow White lying on the ground as if she were dead. They lifted her up, and seeing that she was bound too tightly, they cut the lace in two. Thankfully, the young girl began to breathe, and little by little she came back to life. Upon hearing what happened, the dwarfs told Snow White that the old peddler woman was actually the godless queen, and reminded her not to let anyone inside when they weren't home. When the wicked woman returned to her mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who in this land is the fairest of them all?" And once again the mirror answered, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White beyond the mountains with the 7 dwarfs is still 1,000 times fairer than you." Hearing that made all of her blood run to her heart, because she knew that Snow White had come back to life. This time I think of something... Ooh. Yep, cat is all up on me. Okay, Megatron. Okay. Okay, let's see. "This time I'll think of something that will destroy you," she vowed. Using witchcraft, she made a poisoned comb and disguised herself as a different old woman. Then she crossed the 7 mountains to the 7 dwarfs' home and knocked on the door as she called out, "Good wares for sale." Snow White looked out. Oh, Megatron. Okay. Snow White looked out and said, "Go on your way. I'm not allowed to let anyone inside." 1 second. I'm gonna just put little Miss Megatron over here. Come here, baby. Okay. And she's all up on my microphone. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Go. Go, go, go. Oh, she's not going. There we go. Okay, go. Sorry. All right. Where were we? I need to get a lock on my door. Okay. Okay. "Surely you can just take a look," the old woman said as she held up the poisoned comb. The child liked it so much that she let herself be deceived and opened the door. After agreeing on the price, the old woman offered the comb to the young girl's hair properly. She barely stuck the comb in Snow White's hair before the poison took effect. The child fell down unconscious. "You beautiful specimen, now you are finished," the wicked woman said as she walked away. Okay, there's something wrong with my audio again. Let's see. It says that it's only in the right ear, only in the left ear. Okay. I mean, it shows... I don't see that it's doing that. Is anyone else having issues where they can only hear in one ear? Okay, it's like not. How about now? Is it working? Okay. All right. Let's see. Someone said that last time too, and then everyone else said it was okay for them, and it was like only one person, so I'm not sure why it does that. But let me know if it's working. Okay, 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. So, I don't know. Okay, if anything, I'll fix it later. Just get through the rest of the story, I guess. Is Megatron still in here? She is. She's still in here. Okay. Baby girl, go down. Go, go, go. Okay. 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 Alright, here we are. After agreeing on the price, the old woman offered to comb the young girl's hair properly. She barely stuck the comb into Snow White's hair before the poison took effect, and the child fell down unconscious. "You beautiful specimen, now you are finished," the wicked woman said as she walked away. Fortunately, it was almost evening, and the 7 dwarfs returned home. When they saw Snow White lying on the ground as if she were dead, they immediately suspected her stepmother and examined her. They soon found the poisoned comb, and once again they pulled it out. Snow White woke up and told them what had happened. Yet again they warned her to not open the door for anyone. Back home, the queen stepped before the mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who in this land is the fairest of them all?" Again the mirror answered, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but Snow White, beyond the mountains with the 7 dwarfs, is still 1,000 times fairer than you." Okay. When the queen heard this, she shook and trembled with anger. "Snow White will die if it costs me my life," she shouted as she entered her most secret room. There she made a poisoned apple. It was beautiful on the outside. Anyone who saw its white and red cheeks would want it, and anyone who tasted it would die. Next, she disguised herself as a peasant and crossed the 7 mountains to the 7 dwarfs' home. As she knocked on the door, Snow White stuck her head out of the window and said, "I'm not allowed to let anyone inside. The dwarfs have forbidden it." "That's all right. I'll easily get rid of my apples. Here, you can have one," the peasant woman answered. "No, I cannot accept anything," Snow White replied. "Are you afraid of poison? Look, I'll cut the apple in 2. You eat the red half and I'll eat the white half," the woman told her. The apple had been so well made that only the red half was poisoned, and Snow White longed for the beautiful fruits. When she saw the woman eating part of it, she couldn't resist any longer and stuck out her hand for the poisoned half. She had barely taken her first bite when she fell to the ground dead. The queen stared at her gruesomely. "White as snow, red as blood, black as ebony wood, this time the dwarfs will not be able to wake you," she said through her loud laughter. Back at home, she asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who in this land is fairest of them all?" And finally it answered, "You, my queen, are fairest of them all." At long last her envious heart was at rest, at least as well as an envious heart can be at rest. When the dwarfs came home that evening, they found Snow White lying on the ground and not breathing. She was dead. They lifted her up and searched for the poisonous item. They undid her laces, combed her hair, and washed her with water and wine, but nothing helped. The dear child was dead, and she remained dead. They laid her on the table, and all 7 dwarfs sat with her as they mourned and cried for 3 days. They had planned to bury her, but she still had her beautiful red cheeks and appeared fresh as a living person. They couldn't bear to bury her in the back earth. Oh, sorry. They couldn't bear to bury her in the black earth, so they made a transparent glass coffin and laid her inside. Golden letters were used to write her name on it, along with the fact that she was a princess, and the coffin was placed outside on the mountain, where one of them always stayed nearby to watch over her. The animals also came to mourn for the young girl, first an owl, then a raven, and finally a dove. Snow White lay in the coffin for a very long time, but she didn't decay. She only looked like she was asleep. Her skin was still as white as snow, her lips were still as red as blood, and her hair was still as black as ebony. Eventually, a prince entered the woods and happened to discover the dwarf's house while seeking shelter for the night. There he saw the coffin with the beautiful Snow White inside, and he read what was written in golden letters. Deciding he must have it, he offered the dwarves anything they wanted in exchange for the coffin, but they refused. They wouldn't sell it for all the gold in the world. The prince responded by saying, "Then give it to me. I cannot live without being able to see Snow White. I will honor and respect her as my most cherished one." As he spoke, the good dwarves pitied him and agreed to give him the coffin. The prince had his servants carry it away, but one of them stumbled and caused the piece of poison apple to dislodge from Snow White's throat. Soon after, she opened her eyes, lifted the coffin's lid, and sat up. "Good heavens, where am I?" she cried out. The prince joyfully explained everything that happened and told her, "I love you more than anything else in this world. Come to my father's castle and become my wife." The young girl returned his love and decided to go with him. Their wedding was planned with great splendor, and Snow White's godless stepmother was invited to the feast. After putting on her beautiful clothes, she stepped before her mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who in this land is the fairest of them all?" To which the mirror answered, "You, my queen, are fair, it's true, but the young queen is 1,000 times fairer than you." The wicked woman uttered a curse and was so frightened that she didn't know what to do. At first, she didn't want to attend the wedding, but her mind gave her no peace. She had to see the young queen. When she arrived, she recognized Snow White and became frozen in terror. The king ordered a pair of iron shoes to be placed into burning coals and brought before her. Then she was forced to step into the red-hot shoes and dance until she fell down dead. The end. Bye, lady. Thank you for coming. Okay, so that was Snow White. I love that story. It's so, I think it's just so weird how, the prince is just like, "I have to have her." It's like, bro, you just seen her. But yeah, so that's Snow White, the Grimm version. Sorry about my audio. I don't know what's going on tonight. I think it's just had the type of day that I had. It's just not being great. But let's see. Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin. See, I told you I'm going to mess up Rumpelstiltskin's name about like 16, 18 times. But yeah, so we'll get into that in a few minutes. Let me just take a little coffee break. Hi, Justice. I love you too. How are you? I just got done reading Snow White. We had a little audio trouble, but it's a Danny Dreadful stream. We're already 30 minutes in. I love that story though. Snow White's like always been one of my absolute favorites. Now they're doing the live action. I probably won't see it because the actress just doesn't seem very happy to be playing Snow White. So why would I want to see that? Kinda crummy day. Hi, Duchess. Hello, Sean. Oh, thank you. I'm dressed as Snow White tonight. I figured it's Halloween weekend. Let's have some fun with it. I was gonna do a zombie poison Snow White, but I don't know. I didn't want to mess up my makeup. I thought it came out pretty decent, so I was like, if I like put like lines on me and stuff like I did with the doll thing, it might come out bad. I don't have time to redo it. Oh, just like not like a crummy day. I guess I was just really tired because I like hadn't slept really in like 24 hours. I had like naps in between, but yeah, it was a little. It was a day, but it's okay. All good now. All good. But yeah, so we got some coffee. I was gonna have like six or seven coffees today, but I managed to only go with two. This is my second one. Oh, it's okay. We all have our days, right? But I was just also saying how like it's my last week of maternity leave as well, so I guess like my mood has just been a little, a little sad. Not that, because I absolutely love my job. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it's gonna be really different having going from being with my baby for 24 hours a day until seeing him not as much, and it's a lot. But yeah. Um yeah, so I was talking about earlier about like my favorite Grimm fairy tales, and Rumpelstiltskin's one of my favorites. And I know Bookworm, Anthony was saying how like his grandma would read that to him. And it's funny because my grandma actually gave me all of these fairy tale books when I was younger, and they just kind of got lost, or I don't know what happened to them, but they're just not with us anymore. So I found some on Amazon, and I found the Snow White one, and I was like so happy. It was not even that expensive, so now I have one of them, but I want to collect them all. Not like Pokemon, or yes, like Pokemon. Collect them, or gotta catch them all. Catch them all, not collect them all. I need more coffee. But yeah, so I guess we'll go into Rumpelstiltskin, and then hang out for a little bit and then call it a night, because I want to get some horror movies in. I want to pop some popcorn, and I know you guys, it's Halloween weekend, so I'm sure you guys have stuff to do rather than sit out and hang out with me. So today was definitely a first for me. Ooh, a good first or a bad first, Sean? I hope it was good. My coffee got cold already. I should have done iced coffee. Okay. So this one, so Snow White, I had already said that Page Turner actually adapted it. This one has not been adapted, so there's like words like thou in there, and if I stumble upon my words and don't read it as gracefully as I read Snow White, I do apologize. But yeah, we're gonna go get into this. So, a fairy tale by the Brothers Grimm. There was once a miller who was poor, but he had one beautiful daughter. It happened one day that he came to speak with the king, and to give himself consequence, he told him that he had a daughter who could spin gold out of straw. The king said to the miller, "This is an art that pleases me well. If thy daughter is as clever as you say, bring her to my castle tomorrow, that I may put her to the proof." When the girl was brought to him, he led her into a room that was quite full of straw, and gave her a wheel and spindle, and said, "Now set to work, and if by the early morning thou hast not spun this straw to gold, thou shalt die." And he shut the door himself, and left her there alone. And so the poor miller's daughter was left there sitting, and could not think what to do for her life. She had no notion how to set to work to spin gold from straw, and her distress grew so great that she began to weep. Then all at once the door opened, and in came a little man who said, "Good evening, miller's daughter. Why are you crying?" "Oh," answered the girl, "I have to spin gold out of straw, and I don't understand the business." The little man said, "What will you give me if I spin it for you?" "My necklace," said the girl. The little man took the necklace, seated himself before the wheel, and whir, 3 times round, and the bobbin was full. Then he took up another, and whir, 3 times round, and that was full. And so he went on till morning, when all the straw had been spun, and all the bobbins were full of gold. At sunrise came the king, and when he saw the gold, he was astonished and very much rejoiced, for he was very avaricious. He had the miller's daughter taken into another room filled with straw, much bigger than the last, and told her that as she valued her life, she must spin it all in one night. The girl did not know what to do, so she began to cry, and then the door opened, and the little man appeared and said, "What will you give me if I spin all the straw into gold?" The ring from my finger," answered the girl. So the little man took the ring and began again to send the wheel whirring around, and by the next morning all the straw was spun into glistening gold. The king was rejoiced beyond measure at the sight, but as he could never have enough of gold, he had the miller's daughter taken into a still larger room full of straw and said, "This too must be spun in one night, and if you accomplish it, you shall be my wife." For he thought, "Although she is but a miller's daughter, I am not likely to find anyone richer in the world." As soon as the girl was left alone, the little man appeared for the third time and said, "What will you give me if I spin the straw for you this time?" "I have nothing left to give," answered the girl. "Then you must promise me the first child you have after you are queen," said the little man. "But who knows whether that will happen?" thought the girl. But as she did not know what else to do in her necessity, she promised the little man what he desired, upon which he began to spin, until all the straw was gold. And when in the morning the king came and found all done according to his wish, he caused the wedding to be held at once, and the miller's pretty daughter became the queen. In a year's time she brought a fine child into the world, and thought no more of what the little man said. But one day he came suddenly into her room and said, "Now give me what you promised me." The queen was terrified greatly, and offered the little man all the riches of the kingdom, if he would only leave the child. But the little man said, "No, I would rather have something living than all the treasures of the world." Then the queen began to lament and to weep, so that the little man had pity upon her. "I will give you 3 days," he said, "and if at the end of that time you cannot tell my name, you must give up the child to me." Then the queen spent the whole night in thinking over all the names that she had ever heard, and sent a messenger through the land to ask far and wide for all the names that could be found. And when the little man came the next day, beginning with Casper, Melchior, Balthazar, she repeated all she knew, and went through the whole list. But after each the little man said, "That's not my name." The second day the queen sent to inquire all the neighbors, what the servants were called, and told... Oh, Megatron is scratching my foot. Meg, please stop. Okay, she's like under my dress and scratching my foot. That's not part of the story. That's just Megatron being Megatron right now. Okay. Okay. "That is not my name." The second day the queen sent to inquire of all the neighbors what the servants were called, and told the little man all the most unusual and singular names, saying, "Perhaps you are called roast ribs, or sheepshanks, or spindle shanks?" But he answered nothing but, "That is not my name." The third day the messenger came back again and said, "I have not been able to find one single new name, but as I passed through the woods I came to a high hill, and near it was a little house, and before the house burned a fire, and round the fire danced a comical little man, and he hopped on one leg and cried, 'Today do I bake, tomorrow I brew, the day after that the queen's child comes in, and oh, I am glad that nobody knew that the name I am called is Rumpelstiltskin.' You cannot think how pleased the queen was to hear that name, and soon afterwards, when the little man asked, 'Now, Mrs. Queen, what is my name?' she said at first, 'Are you called Jack?' 'No,' answered he. 'Are you called Harry?' She asked again. 'No,' answered he, and then she said, 'Then perhaps your name is Rumpelstiltskin?' 'The devil told you that! The devil told you that!' cried the little man, and in his anger he stamped with his right foot so hard that it went to the ground above his knee. Then he seized his left foot with both hands in such a fury that he split in two, and that was the end of him." The end. And the server said, "Oh, Megatron." Yes, that is that was written in just for us. uh, okay. Oh, bye, Christine. Thank you for coming. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much, Justice, for the 99 cents. Um, oh, I'm so sorry, Sean. That's hard. The wee little woman and jump scare us every time. Yeah, so those were the stories. I know we didn't do like a bunch of them tonight. I didn't realize, I forgot how short that story was. I thought it was a little bit longer. But I said let's hang out for like 15 minutes, chit chat. Oh, girl, don't even. Like, thank you so much, really. Like, you just being here is more than enough. Like, don't even. Don't even. I don't do these streams from. I didn't even know that I could get money from streams, and I don't do them for that. I just do them for fun and to hang out with you guys and just, chit chat because we love talking on this channel. You know that. So, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, so we can put the music back on now. Is it gonna go? My audio sucks today, guys. Sorry. I hate when I have like bad tech issues. It just throws off my whole. Oh my gosh! Don't give me anything then. Seriously, don't. Like, that's hard. It's like I feel like even like in the U.S. right now, the economy is just so bad. Like it's just I feel like at one point I'm gonna have to like get a second job or something so I get it. Oh, thank you so much, Justice. You're so sweet. My poisoned coffee. That is like yeah, things are crazy. Yeah, bookworm, it totally is. Like, I moved from New York because New York was super expensive, so we moved to Texas, and we're thinking like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like, a livable, like we can live and not be like, working 14-hour days trying to make ends meet, like my husband and I, 'cause we've been together for almost 12 years now, so like it was just such a hustle all the time in New York, and just we didn't like it anymore, and we're like, let's move to Texas, things will be cheaper, and we move here, and we've been here for 5 years now, and it's getting just as expensive as New York, and it's starting to get scary. So Lone Wolf is here. Hello, hello, hello. Of course, house, baby, and papa and pets. Everyone's doing fantastic. It's like so good. Mr. Dreadful has been great. He was a little sick yesterday, and that's why I was up for so long, because I took care of baby pretty much all day and then all night, because he was, well, the thing with baby Dreadful is, knock on wood, he's really like sleeping through the night. Like, we don't let him sleep past like 4 hours because he has to eat. That's like a thing with babies. After like 3 or 4 hours, like you kind of have to wake them up so that they'll eat. But now that he's getting a little older, he's allowed to go to 5 hours, and he's been sleeping through the night, which has been amazing. So last night it was, I think I fed him at 11:30 p.m. and then he didn't wake up again until about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I woke up with him. Oh no, that's not true. He woke up at 2, but he did this like fake thing where he fakes me out sometimes, and he'll wake up, start crying, and then I'm like, okay, and like rushing to get his bottles ready and everything, and then I run upstairs, and then he's back asleep. So he faked me out at like 2 a.m. and we wasted a bottle, and I was like, damn, but it's okay. And then he woke up for real at like 4 o'clock, and he was like wide awake, just like, hi, I'm ready for the day. I'm like, oh no, buddy, we're not ready for the day yet. So Lone. Yes, babies do have to eat, otherwise they will starve. Oh yeah. We doing more streams this week? I need Danny for Halloween. So this is probably, maybe I'll do one later in the week. But I do have a fun Halloween special coming out that Page Turner did, and that's gonna be an on-camera, fun little thing that we do. Last year we did it too. It was the annual seance where we we summoned Lizzie Borden, and this year we're summoning someone a little bit darker. So that will be out on Halloween, and then probably live stream later in the week. We'll see. Like I said, I go back to work next week. I go back on November 1st, so I am trying to spend like as much time with little baby and, you know, just soaking it all in the last few days. Yes, so maybe I'll do a premiere for that. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how the day goes, but usually like it's probably we'll do a premiere for that one. But any other video I put out like this week, I'll do a premiere for. And Lone Wolf, how is your stream? Sorry I couldn't be there. I did not know. I always like being able to like not do my streams when other narrators are doing their streams, because one, I like to go to other narrator streams, and two, I just like I want to be respectful if like that's their time. And I didn't know that there was another stream tonight. Otherwise I would have like pushed it earlier or something. But yeah, I mean, you know, he's like, he's not a needy baby. Like, he's actually pretty, I mean, I guess, I don't know. He's a good baby overall. He's like, I feel like very lucky. He gets cranky. He'll have growth spurts every now and then. He'll be really cranky, and that's when he wants mama, which it's a cool feeling though. It's like, oh, this little thing, like he just wants me, and it's fine. So like before the stream he was crying a lot, and I was rocking him, and then he went to sleep, and then I heard him wake up, but then I heard Mr. Dreadful go in there, so he's good. He's all good. I know you're kidding, Justice. And another guy, Mr. R. Who's Mr. R? I don't know who that is. Is it Mr. Revenant or just like Mr. R? Do babies really need... I know, I'm just totally joking with you, Justice. But I'm glad you guys are here. Like I said, today's like gonna be like a shorter stream just to chill. Yeah. Imagine just like, oh my god, do babies really need their moms all that much? Can't you just... Like, another thing, I just like kind of put him on my lap and like he could stream with us. A horror writer, I think. Oh, cool. Mr. R. I've never heard of him before. Hey, Jen. How are you? Jensen, how are you? Thank you. They're poison apples because I read Snow White earlier, so... I've never heard of him, Lone. I don't know. Why did I call you Lone? See, I'm so out of it today, guys. I'm sorry. I should have had, like, a shot or something, I feel like. But Wolfie, yes. I've never heard of him, but that's cool. Chills impressions. Yeah, I need to actually talk to you about doing some intros, because I've seen your intros are like really, really good. So, because the name is Lone, I thought. Yeah, it's Lone Wolf, but I always call him Wolfie. He's been my like one of my very, very close friends in the community since I started narrating. So Wolfie has been his name. So it was weird that I called him Lone. Sorry, man. But I swear I'm usually more like, you know, bubbly and stuff. Yes, I'm Wolfie. So what's everyone doing for Halloween? I'm super excited. This is the first year we're not, it's like tomorrow would have been like the Dreadfuls. Not really our last name. We don't call ourselves the Dreadfuls. But we usually do a really big Halloween party. But with little baby, not doing it this year. We're going to some like block party that my town is having, or my community is having, and dressing him up. And I'm gonna super excited for that. But yeah, so we're not doing a party this year, but what are y'all doing? I wish my coffee wasn't cold, but I'm gonna drink it anyway. Others call me Lone, though. Awesome! Lady Spookaria was just in here. You just missed her. She's amazing. I love Lady. She's so cool. Go heat it up real quick. It's too far. I actually have like one of those little like coffee heater upper things that I keep on my desk for work, because this is also my workspace for my day job. So I usually plug it in and keep it, but I didn't. And plus, we'll probably be done in a few minutes anyway. Keeper of all things straight and in pencil. Oh man, I'm like, I'm thinking, what do you guys want to see on the next stream? I don't usually do like the narration streams, but I thought tonight would be fun just to kind of do some Grimm fairy tales. But I'm trying to think what would be fun. Games are always fun. When we did not the Pick Your Poison, the Morbid Curiosity game was really fun. What else was fun? The writing your story thing was really cool. I still have to finish that because I got pregnant. And then Tenzin, who comes to my stream sometimes, and he's like a very big supporter of the channel, he was in that stream, and we all wrote the story. Justice, you were in there too. And we wrote the story, and he reminded me the other day, he like commented, or he was in the stream, and he said like, Danny, where is the story that we wrote together? And I was like, oh bro, I got pregnant, and then like my creativity just went pfft. It was hard to keep up with the channel, but also I was like not even writing. It was like I was trying to do everything at once, working full time. I worked literally until my due date, so like until Baby Dreadful came, I was working my full-time job and then trying to, put out content. So I will get a story written though. I do have all the notes still, so that's something I'm going to be working on. But I have something really fun coming up with 2 guest narrators once I figure out how to get multiple people on stream, which I'm pretty... Horror trivia, that'll be fun. Yes, okay, totally. Could we do more Poison? That game was awful. We're not doing that game again, Wolf. That game, oh my god. So I actually, okay, so horror trivia, yes, definitely love that idea. And, what was I gonna say? I was thinking, there's something else. Oh yeah, like I was saying, no, I'm just kidding. I know how to get people on the stream. It's just a matter of getting our schedules lined up, because that's another thing. When you have guests on, it's like kind of trying to figure out each other's schedules. And my schedule right now has just been, yeah, I'm gonna stream today, or I have to cancel my stream, or I have to move my stream because life. So, hard-working woman. Yeah, I try. I feel like I did pretty decent keeping up with my channel. My hours dropped tremendously, which, whatever. But it wasn't really about the hours. It was more about keeping my sanity. Ooh, there was some dust. Keeping my sanity and my creativity in some way, and also, getting stuff out for you guys, because that's what I enjoy doing. So instead of being like, oh my god, putting so much pressure on myself, I was like, whatever, I'm just like, this is fun for me, this is what I like to do. And so that was where we're at. And I have a story that I'm writing, and I was supposed to write it today, like finish writing it today, but then I took a nap instead because I was really tired. Like, I got to the point today where I was like, oh my gosh, like if I don't sleep, I'm gonna cancel streaming, and I didn't want to cancel my stream tonight. So thank you, Justice. But yeah, so yeah, so Halloween should be fun. I have the annual seance that we're doing, and I have some other stuff coming up too. So I think this week we're just gonna get some stuff out, whatever we can get out. Love you too, Wolfie. Love you all. I don't even know. Let's see. Your name is lying to me now. Alright, cool. So I guess I'll let you all go and enjoy spooky season and do some horror movie watching or parties or whatever it is you all have planned. If you're recording tonight, good luck. Wolfie, if you're recording for Halloween, when you should make a real life Ugh, that would be amazing. I want to, I think next year I want to go to Salem. We went, I keep saying like, oh, I'm going to go. But yeah, one more story. We went to Salem. My husband and I went to Salem when we were first dating. It was like I think it was our second trip that we went on together. And I looked at pictures the other day and I was like, oh my God, I was such a baby. I was so young. And it's like, yeah, I was 23 when we started dating. And I am now not 23. So. Oh, so Lady Nopingham, she changed her name to Lady Vengeance. And she was actually just on Amanda Jane, The Darkest Hour. She was just on her channel. I listened to it today and she was fantastic as usual. But I don't know. I haven't seen her post anything on her channel. But I know that she has been doing some collabs. So I think maybe you can, if you have Twitter, I think you could probably hit her up on Twitter. But I spoke to her probably in May or June of this year, I think. Just checked in and stuff. I know, I miss her too, and she's such a good voice. Like her, Amanda Jane, Lady Spookaria, Miss Creepy Tales, love her voice. Just Duchess, Darkness of Darkness, like the women in this community, like girl power, also amazing. Oh, and Noetic, I don't know if you guys have heard of her. She's really good too. I just found her channel, or maybe she found, I don't know, we started talking and she's really sweet and she has a great channel. I know, she really is. I love her. I miss her too. But yeah, like I remember when she first came out, I was like, wow, like her voice is good. And I like certain voices, so for her it's like, I was like, damn, like she's got a great voice. Woman in horror, hell yeah. Oh, hi. Scared the shit out of me. Hi, Meg. She came up here and she started like making little cat noises. Oh my god, I love her. Soren Narnia. Do you know him? If not, look him up immediately. Okay. I'm gonna look him up right now. Soren Narnia. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm going to subscribe and then I'll listen to him later. Thank you. I'm always looking for like really good narrators and stuff, storytellers. My favorites, you know, I have a few favorites that like not, it's not even like favorites, it's just like go-tos that like their voices just kind of calm me down. Alright guys, so I guess I'll end the stream now since we're an hour in. Little Miss Megatron. She's gonna scratch off my face. Hey Outrum, we're just about to finish up, but thanks for coming in. Say hi. Love her, she's crazy. Alright guys, thank you all so much for coming and listening to me read some stories, and I'll see you next week at some point, and we will definitely go ahead and do some premieres. And Little Miss Megatron's tail says goodbye. Bye guys, have a happy Halloween weekend, stay safe, dress up, photos are always cool, post photos, and hang out. So